Ready when you are.
Too many people use abortion as a birth control. This was said by former child star Brooke Shields, and I completely agree. I think that we should give women and even teenage girls the access to affordable birth control. There are many children who are born to parents who either can't afford them or don't want them. If we don't have affordable birth control, then how are these women supposed to even afford children? I know that many of you think that this doesn't apply to you, but it bothers our nation, meaning it's also a topic that should bother you. I became interested in this because my mom used to work at a family planning clinic where she actually saw the relief that people had from getting their birth control. Obviously, birth control lowers the rate of unwanted pregnancies in our nation. I know that many of you think that you know a lot about birth control, but I really hope that you keep an open mind as I talk to you about it. There are different types of birth control. The first one I would like to talk to you about is the pill. The pill has artificially made chemicals that the body actually makes normally, including the male body. However, it's used to regulate the menstrual cycle if the prescription is followed as given. What it does is keeps the egg from maturing completely. It thickens the mucus in the cervix and keeps the uterine wall from thickening as it would normally, so that the egg cannot attach and grow properly. The next one is the contraceptive injection, such as the depot shot. It covers 8 to 12 weeks, and basically the user is rendered infertile for that time. It is 99% effective. The next one is the intrauterine device, or an IUD. It has a hormone-based one, which you can use for up to 5 years, and a copper-based one that can be used up for 10 years. It can also be used as an emergency contraceptive if used within 5 days of unprotected sex. The next one is the vaginal ring. It's a small transparent ring that's put in for 3 weeks and then taken out for the period, and has the same hormones basically as the pill. The next one is Plan B, which is the morning after pill. It should not be taken on a daily basis as with the regular pill. It contains a chemical called levogestrel and is 90% effective if taken within the first 10 hours. Now, many people argue that access to birth control leads to more teens actually having sex. However, I'm sure most of us know teenagers don't run on logic. They don't think about whether or not they can afford a baby. The article, Does Distance Matter? Access to Family Planning and Adolescent Sexual Behavior, found that access to affordable birth control actually leads to less risky sexual behaviors. Risky sexual behaviors puts the people at risk for HIV, other sexually transmitted diseases, or an unwanted pregnancy. The same article found that those who live within 30 minutes of a family planning clinic are less likely to become pregnant. A family planning clinic is paid for by the government, usually because it's in the health department. It's a good source for information on contraceptives, whether you want to change what you're using or start, and other sexual health. America focuses on telling people not to have sex, which has been found to be ineffective, rather than telling people to have safer sex. The article, U.S. Teen Contraceptive Use Up, Pregnancies Down, in the American Journal of Nursing, found that a 77% decline in pregnancies in 15 to 17-year-old was completely done by contraceptive use. I feel that teenagers should be armed with the information to make the choice as to whether or not they're going to use birth control. In teen motherhood, a long-term health consequences, it states that in 2006 alone, we spent $11.3 billion on teen moms. I feel that if we bother to spend money on educating them, we could spend less money on taking care of them and their children. 33% of you either strongly agreed or simply agreed that abortion should be illegal. I feel that if abortion is illegal, maybe we should push more for birth control. That way, women don't feel as though they have to have an abortion. Birth control has many benefits that I personally was not taught about. In women's knowledge, beliefs, and information needs in relation to the risks and benefits associated with the use of the oral contraceptive pill, it found that women who take the pill are at less risk for dysmenorrhea, which is basically a fancy word for really bad cramps. These are cramps that affect your daily life, and those of you who don't think cramps happen because you're lucky enough to not have them, you're wrong. My personal girlfriend actually takes the demo shot simply for her cramps because she was missing up to a week and a half of school from them. Another one is menorrhagia, which is long or heavy periods on a regular basis. This can cause severe anemia and other problems from blood loss. Another one is an ectopic pregnancy, which is basically where nature has really badly messed up. It sucks if you're trying to have kids because the mom is at risk of dying and the baby rarely survives. It's where the fertilized egg attaches itself to the fallopian tube or the ovary or even an organ that it's not supposed to. The pill also helps with things that become worse during the period, such as asthma, which can affect the person's breathing to the point that they have to be hospitalized, or migraines, which affects them to the point that movement causes vomiting because of the pain. And another thing that's a little more minor, it helps with acne. So that could help with self-esteem for some people. I believe that this should be a choice that the woman makes on her own, rather than having her employer or the government tell her. I also believe that it could make or break futures of citizens in our country. America has the highest teen pregnancy rate in any developed country. Birth control leads to actually having safer sex, and it does other things that prevent pregnancies. I know our class is really small, but I feel that if we educate ourselves and our friends and our families, we can end up educating hundreds of people, and that's enough to make a policy change. I believe that through education, we can also get rid of the stigma around birth control.
Okay, Bethany. Okay.